Hi, I'm LP Master 6, and welcome to a game developed by Rareware and presented by Nintendo in the year 1995. It is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest, which I thought for years that it was called Diddy Kong's Quest, and I never understood why, but apparently it's a pun on Conquest. I didn't notice that until maybe a year ago. But apparently it was originally going to be called Diddy Kong's Quest until they made a close to the end of development swapping of the apostrophe S placement. Also, you might wonder why Donkey Kong Country 2 is not on the title screen. I guess because the focus is on Diddy Kong and not Donkey Kong. We're not playing as him, we're playing as Diddy and his girlfriend Dixie Kong. Also, you don't have to market a game once somebody's already bought it. The name's on the box and the cartridge. But the demos here are meant to market a game, right? These demos are weird and awful. They don't showcase anything cool about the sequel. Like, look at this. This is ridiculous. But this one's my favorite. This one right here. Just watch. That's it. I mean, sure, they show new graphics and new songs and new areas, new enemies, and this purple bird. So that's cool. But anyway, welcome to the long-awaited sequel to Donkey Kong Country. Actually, it came out a year in either plus or minus a day to a year. I don't remember exactly. But that's really impressive for a sequel. I mean, even in 1995, I feel like that's impressive. But you also have to consider that Donkey Kong Land came out in between DKC 1 and 2, which makes it even more impressive. But anyway, let's get into the pirate booty meat of the game here. This game is pirate themed, in case you couldn't tell, because Greg Mayles, lead designer on the game, had a lifelong obsession with the golden age of piracy. Now, let's get into some neat, boring facts about the settings of the game. Now, you probably have never known this unless you've played multiple versions of this game, region-wise, or you've read the Cutting Room Floor's article on the regional differences in Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest. In Japan, the default setting here is stereo. So every time you turn the game off and back on, it'll go back to mono, and I have no idea why. In I think every Western version of the game, there is an unused German option. Of course, it is used in places like Germany, but if you hack the American version of the game, which is the only one that matters to me because I'm American, sorry, to do the German option, it won't work because there's no German text. But that's boring. Let's get into interesting stuff. If I press down 5 more times from here, we'll unlock some hidden game modes. But we'll be saving that and the multiplayer here for a bonus video at the end of the game. Ow! Oh, I hurt my arm. Welcome to Crocodile Isle, home of the Kremlings. The first game takes place in the cush, nice, homey environment of Donkey Kong Island. But this, you're on the enemy's turf now, and that is significant because it's telling you in advance this game is a lot harder than the last one. At least not yet. But this is another sign of things to come. The last world, or at least the final boss area, of Donkey Kong Country 1 is the first world of Country 2. Gangplank Galleon. Let's get into our first level, Pirate Panic. Oh boy, I'm excited for this one. This is a well-beloved game, and I'm just going to say the same stuff, sucking off every development team member at Rare the whole time, just like everybody else, because I'm unoriginal. Now, what's the plot of the game, you may ask? I've kidnapped that lumbering fool Donkey Kong, and you will never see him again! Har 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 har! Captain K. Rool. That is the worst voice I could have given him. So, he's not King K. Rool anymore. This picture in the background of this particular area, the captain's cabin, is the only appearance of King K. Rool in the game. Because now he's Captain K. Rool. There was an old rumor on the internet that in Japan, King K. Rool and Captain K. Rool were brothers and were actually separate characters. And when I was a kid, I thought they were separate characters, but that's because I was stupid. I thought if you had a different name, you were a different person no matter what. Like Mario and Dr. Mario, different characters completely. But that's not the point. So, the plot of the game. Also, these enemies are called Neeks. They're the first enemy you see in the game. Don't forget that. Sorry, this is showing us new abilities. I'm going to have to go back and forth like I always do at the beginning of a game between the plot and new game mechanics. So this is the Team Up ability, which lets us throw another Kong to reach high areas. And, I mean, there's plenty of cool uses for it. But I'm going to get into the plot, and I'm not going to let myself get distracted. Okay. So, Donkey Kong, after the events of the first game and presumably Donkey Kong Land, is laying around on the beach near his home, relaxing, wearing some shades in a beach chair, chilling out, maxed out, relaxing, all cool. And Funky Kong comes up on a surfboard and he says, "Catch these gnarly waves with me, dude." And Donkey Kong just waves at him, which is kind of rude. Like, why doesn't he just answer him? And then Cranky Kong comes up and annoys Donkey Kong about how he's being so lazy. This is the new supercharge ability Rambi has. Every animal friend has a new ability. You usually use the A button to initiate. Also, while I've distracted myself from the plot, the things we're getting in the bonus areas are Crim Coins. Unlike the first game where you just have to access the bonus areas and not finish them, you have to finish the bonus areas in this one, but that's okay because they're a lot more fun. I don't know if I'd say there's a lot more variety, but I think just they're all more fun. That is one of Cranky Kong's video game hero coins. We'll get into that once we actually finish talking about the plot. If I could remember where I was. Oh yeah, Cranky Kong comes up pestering Donkey Kong about how lazy he is. He says, "Video game heroes don't get about lazing about all day, whisking around maidens and throwing barrels 7 days a week I was." And then Donkey says, "Go pester Diddy or something. Leave me alone, old man." And then Cranky says, "Diddy's off on a walk with that girlfriend of his, Dixie Kong, who we're also playing as here. I'll talk about her in a minute." And Cranky says, "Fine. Anyway, I can see when I'm not wanted," and he walks away. Later, Diddy and Dixie get back from their walk to see Donkey Kong's beach chair smashed and that ransom note. Because the manual has a longer version of the note. I don't know why they didn't just put the whole thing in the game at the beginning. But Captain K. Rool says that he will return Donkey Kong in return for the Banana Horde. And Cranky, Wrinkly Kong, which is Cranky Kong's wife, and Funky Kong all agree to give K. Rool the Banana Horde. And then Diddy gets mad and says Donkey Kong will just be extra pissed because of all the trouble they went through to get the bananas back in the first game. And then Cranky says, "Well, what do you propose we do then?" So Diddy says, "I'm going to Crocodile Isle to rescue DK myself." Sorry, cat interruption number 1 of the video. So Cranky scoffs at Diddy and says, "Ha! You were nothing more than a side character in the first game." Sorry, my voice acting is really awful today. I apologize. I know. Lackluster. And Diddy says, "I can be a hero. I'll prove it." So that's what the video game hero coins, aka DK coins, are. They are proof that Diddy is a true video game hero if he can collect them all. So that's the nice little side plot, completion plot here, which is completely optional. It's kind of cool that the completion aspect, like, makes you feel more worthy if you do it, and it actually ties into the plot a little bit. But anyway, so Cranky is just laying into Diddy, and he says, "Who will go with you? You can't do it by yourself. You suck," basically. And then Dixie says, "I'm going," and Diddy sees it's useless to protest because he knows his place. So, establishing feminism in this game about monkeys. I like it. Good for kids to see. Also, Candy Kong, as you'll notice, is not in the plot of the game because Nintendo found her too sexually provocative. So, we went the opposite route with a badass lead character. Not that you can't be sexually provocative and be a badass. It's not what I mean. But you get my point. Feminism is better than eye candy. Not that I personally found Candy Kong attractive, but... Okay. Oh, I actually did it. These guys are really hard to hit when they're on ropes, which they always are. That's kind of what they are. They're called clangs, I think. Put it on screen if that's wrong. The beetles down there, which I always think are ants, are called click-clacks. The Kremlings that are in barrels that we've seen are called clobbers. The peg-leg ones are called clumps. And I think that's all the enemies we've seen so far. Maybe not. But back to the story. Dixie calls Cranky Kong an old coot or something like that. And so they set off for Crocodile Isle with the other Kongs to follow. You know, to help out in their little side ways that they can. Oh, I forgot to mention that Funky Kong's like, sorry, dude. Little dude, I'm not going with you. I hate adventures. Wrinkly Kong says she's too old, and Cranky, of course, says he could do it, but he just doesn't want to. So, Wrinkly Kong and Cranky Kong, I don't know how their marriage has lasted so long, but actually, it may not have lasted that long. They never explicitly call Wrinkly Kong... Oh, maybe they do. Donkey's grandmother. I think they do, just not in this game. I don't know. The Donkey Kong lore is definitely something to look into, guys. I'm telling you. So, let's get into gameplay a little more, shall we? For completion, which I won't tell you the number of the percentage. I'm going to keep saying 100%, but if you'll remember, the first game had 101%. I won't tell you what it is in this game, though. Basically, we have to get every bonus level. Actually, we have to beat every bonus level, including Crim Coin. Sorry, I was yawning. And get every DK coin. Let's go to the Monkey Museum run by Cranky Kong. Come and say hello to your old grandpappy Cranky. I'm back by popular demand to offer you my wealth of gameplay and wisdom for this unnecessary sequel. Have you been to see the other members of the Kong family? They're not as useful as me, of course, but that's the worst voice ever. But they might be awful to help. Awful to... Jeez. Diddy, I thought you were a cheap character in DKC, but Dixie is even worse. It should be me on my own. That it should. I don't even get 2 screens to stand in. I'm sure K. Rool will have 2, so why can't I? Pah! I've never seen that one before. That's funny. Give up now before the kids realize you're not as popular as Donkey Kong was. Sorry, my voice is apparently based on AJ from episode 8 of Pokemon. I can recommend the really expensive ones, actually. What is he talking about? Well, if you'll notice, there is a banana coin counter in the corner. Actually, in this game, they're called Kong family coins, but I'm just going to call them banana coins because that's easier. Yes, the Kong family members charge for certain things now, which might be a little bit... Like, you'd think that'd be more controversial for something that was free in the first game to be locked behind in-game currency in the sequel. But, I mean, it's a neat gameplay mechanic. It's fair. Some people complain about something about it we'll get to later. But there's no point in me reading the advice. It's not like I'm going to buy any of it anyway. I've only got 3 coins. Why waste them here? There's better uses for your Kong family coins. But let's take a look in the background here before we leave. I actually have a similar Nintendo logo sign, except mine's not transparent and lopsided on my wall. That arcade cabinet is Killer Instinct, another game developed by Rare. You see Winky from the first game, who does not make a return appearance. And there is a poster back there of a character from Killer Instinct. So they were really showing off what they were proud of in this game. DKC and Killer Instinct. I'm off to spend my tokens. We didn't give you anybody. Okay, Gangplank Galley. We did that, yes. Whew, I've done a lot of talking. So, Diddy is pretty much the same as he was in the first game, except he can do that team-up ability with Dixie that he could not do with DK. So already showing better teamwork. That's what happens when you have 2 chimps instead of a chimp and a gorilla. The 2 chimps just have perfect synchronized teamwork. That's a kaboing. The Kremling. I wasn't like making some dumb joke. Like, oh, that's a kaboing right there. Like, ooh, kaboing moment. Stop with this. See, it's a very bad joke. Ooh, my wife's awake. So, Diddy holds things out in front of him, which is an advantage, because Dixie does not. She holds things like Donkey Kong did above her head. But Dixie is still the better character, even though she's slower. She can jump higher, and she can do this. Woo! Instead of the cartwheel, she has this hair twirl thing. And the helicopter spin is easily the best thing. It makes platforming so beautifully easy. But we're going to keep playing as Diddy for now, because I like going faster through these early levels. We'll play as Dixie when we take a hit. That's how you're supposed to do things. This is a Cruncha. They are Crushas, but more buff and in pirate garb. I bet you didn't know they were actually Crushas. I learned that last night. Or no, 2 nights ago. After I did 3 hours of recording footage for this game, and then edited some of it yesterday, and then threw it all away. This is an invincibility barrel, in case you couldn't tell. I think I'm wasting it. Yes, I'm wasting it. We have to hurry. Oh, okay. Because you can't jump on Crunchas to hurt them. They just get mad, and if they're red, if you jump on them, they'll just kill you. So there's some pretty intense enemies, but luckily the invincibility barrels can take care of them, as can any other barrel you throw at them, any crate. Most items and animal buddies can destroy them. So don't worry about it. There is a lot to this game. It's a very good sequel. It does nothing but improve upon the original. The whole score, we didn't find the DK coin. But that's okay, I know where it is. And I can show something else off. All the music is composed by David Wise. Nobody else helped on this game. And oh my god, it is one of the best soundtracks of all time. Of course, David Wise is a god, but it's also thematic. The only thing is there's not as much ambience as there is in the first game, which creates more memorable songs. Hold on. There it is up there. You see that in the top right? It's a hook that blends in with the rigging of the ship, whatever it's called. I don't know. Now we could start select and leave, but there is something else I want to show very briefly. Come on. We can't start sucking at the game in the 3rd level. Now, here's a new mechanic. I just found a secret warp barrel. So, anytime you go into a warp barrel, you'll get bananas in the shape of an exclamation point. These are usually at the beginning of a level, and they'll take you right to the end of a level. And we are racking up lives. If you turn the game off, your lives and banana coins reset to default, which is 0 for banana coins, and that really sucks for reasons we'll see now. So this is Kong College. Hello, dearies. I'm Mrs. Wrinkly Kong, headmistress here at Kong College. I'm available to teach courses on how to play this game, or you can just pop in when you want to save your little old game. Now then, how can I help you? As you can see, save game is free, so we're going to go ahead and do it. We've already got 8%. This game is way shorter than I remember. Of course, it gets way harder later, so it's going to take me a while to do anything. But if you'll notice, same game, 2 coins. Saving your game, like in Donkey Kong Land, takes effort. Now, it's not that much effort. It's only 2 coins. But still, it's weird that saving is locked behind in-game currency. It's not really a complaint. I've seen people complain about it. Not very many people. And if that's one of the only things you have to complain about this game, then great. This is a fantastic game. And also, look at the background. This is because, as she'll tell us in some of her random text later, she's actually teaching the Kremlings. That's why she came along to Crocodile Isle. And the nice 2 airplanes in the windows. You got a silver trophy. This is a nice little background. Nice song. It's called Schoolhouse Harmony, I believe. A gold coin with a bunch of bananas on it. Collect these and spend them in the various Kong family locations found throughout the island. Swimming! Press the B button to swim. Pressing up or down on the directional keypad while swimming or floating will affect the speed that you sink or swim. End of level targets. Jump on the target to finish the level. If you jump from a sufficient height, you will win the displayed prize. And we will not find out about the rest of this. Area guard. Oh, that's just about bosses, I guess. I already told you about the character team up and Rambi supercharged, so we're good. Also, just take in Wrinkly Sprite for a minute. She's just Donkey Kong in an old lady disguise, and I love it. I love when you can see the family resemblance. I used to think for years she was Donkey Kong's mother, but it's more commonly printed. It's more canon that they are the grandparents, as much as I hate to admit it. But I was just stupid originally. It was Donkey Kong 64 that made Cranky Kong the dad, which is wrong. So I thought for decades that that's how it was, and Nintendo was just retconning it later. But no, it started out where they were grandparents. Okay, enough rambling. Lockjaw's Locker. Oh no, oh no. Hey, I got a bunch of the bananas. Go me. Normally I miss most of those. What? I cartwheeled into it. I don't get this game that much. I didn't grow up with this game like I did the first one, so I don't know it nearly as well. Of course, I played the first 3 worlds of this a million times. But we're finally going to get into Dixie and why she's the better character. I'm not sure, actually, if there's a difference between Diddy and Dixie's swimming, like there is Donkey and Diddy. So many D names. Let's get into Flotsam. That's what this enemy is. If you'll notice, they are very similar to Wild Sting, the first boss of Donkey Kong Land. Neato, huh? But I wonder if that was intentional. And this is a Lockjaw. We're in his locker. This song is called Lockjaw Saga, by the way. We'll be hearing it a lot. The water levels in this game are not nearly as serene, which is another reason I hesitate on saying that Donkey Kong Country 2 has a better soundtrack than 1. On Guard also has a supercharge ability, which can also help you find a few bonus areas in the game. Oh no. Okay, bananas mean that's not the right way to go. Simple subject-verb agreement, Jason. Come on. Yes. And I don't know why I'm going so slowly. Ooh, first try? Yes. Well, I mean, like, first path I took. I didn't even take a single wrong path. Go me. I'm sorry, what was I saying? I didn't grow up with this... Yeah, Aquatic Ambience is in this game, so that's a ding on it. That's the best song in the series. And the water levels, they were originally going to have serene water levels, but this game takes a much more... I don't want to say dramatic tone. What's that? Tense? This is a much more intense game than the first one. There's not as much time to relax, so they ended up not doing any calming levels at all, really. But that's okay. I forgive them. Alright. So no animals... yeah, they're called no animal signs. They will give you a reward anytime you bring the animal buddy to them, because sometimes it's hard to get them to. Oops, I'm dumb. Another improvement from the first game, you won't break a DK barrel upon touching it. That is the industry standard. I mean, unless you need one, that's what I mean. Unless you only have one Kong, so you can save it for later. This is a Shuri. They were originally programmed for Donkey Kong Country 1, but went unused. I'm not sure if they were fully programmed in. I don't think they were. Unlike an enemy we'll see... Oh, maybe they're not in this level. Never mind. It's another water level enemy. Spoilers. Sorry, I know. I'm really bad at these water levels that are in the ship holds. By the way, the Gangplank Galleon, according to the manual, is no longer seaworthy. It has flooded. So I don't know if we messed it up in the course of the first game, and they just made it back and then it was ruined, or if it's just, like, they ruined it somehow on their own. I don't know. I'm not an expert. We'll have to ask the Rare employees, which usually respond to inquiries like that on Twitter. Fuck! 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 I'm a little upset. I don't need to be, though. There's no point. Let me show you why. Because I just remembered we can do this. Aha! Actually, we can even go ahead and get all these bananas. So I'm sorry for screaming the F word very loudly for no reason at you guys. But I actually didn't play this game, which is... it's the completionist favorite game of all time, and at least 2 other YouTubers that I like to watch. Favorite game of all time. And I didn't play this until 2017. And I actually preferred the GBA version. I didn't even know this game existed until probably 2007 or 2008, and I still didn't pick it up, even though I loved the first one so much. Of course, I was a kid. I was born in 1998, so I get a little bit of a break there, right? But 2017, I waited till I was 18 years old. Give them a big hand, folks. Good evening. I'm Swanky Kong, and you're tonight's contestant. And I'm sorry I missed out on that. Alright, Swanky Swag. We get 3 rounds of 3 trivia questions each. What is my name? Swanky, Wonky, or Stinky? It is Swanky. What is the first enemy you see in the game? A furry rat. Yes! Let's play on. What is the name of this area of the island? Gangway Garbage, Gangland Galleon, or Gangplank Galleon? We have a winner here tonight. This is not required for completion, but I like to do them anyway because I like trivia. I like quiz shows and games. They're nice mini games. Also, for completion, you do have to visit every Kong family location at least once. Which I can't imagine why you would never go to Wrinkly Kong, but Cranky Kong's unnecessary and Swanky Kong's definitely unnecessary. And so is Funky Kong, who we haven't seen yet. Pirate Puzzler. What button do you press to run? Oh, I actually have a quote for this. Now, obviously, it's a Y button, but according to the manual in the controls section, running makes the game faster and more exciting. I thought that was hilarious. I lost it when I read that. I didn't actually LOL, but that's how I remember it in my memory, but I don't think I actually laughed. Name of the first level in the game: Pirate Picnic, Pirate Panic, or Pirate Punch-Up? What is the name of the enemy boss who's kidnapped Donkey Kong? Captain K. Rap, Corporal K. Reap, and Captain K. Rule. They got away with a crap joke in a 90s Nintendo game. I can't believe it. 3 out of 3. You're pretty good at this. Shrimp Challenge. In the first level of the game, how many windows did the captain's cabin have? 4. I always remember that because it's the middle number. The name of the first rigging level. I still don't really know what that means. Rigging Riot Ropey Rubbish. In the first level of the game, which of these is not a background object in the captain's cabin? It's actually a gun. I always think it's a sword for some reason. And that's it. We beat Swanky Studio. You've been great, contestants. He's my favorite. I love Swanky Kong. He's just Donkey Kong with an afro and a swankier outfit. But we don't even get an exclamation point for that. Another reason why the remake is better. But I won't talk about the remake too much. I just think people complain about certain parts of it for unwarranted reasons. I think the improvements are way more worthwhile than any detriment. And people complain about the screen crunch in GBA remakes, but it's really not that bad. It's only bad in a couple games I've ever played. Like, it's bad in one example that I can think of. In regards to differences between the 2 versions of this game. But this is Rattly. Rattly? No, I like Radley better. The snake, and he also has a super charge, but in his case, it's a super jump. Which we will be using again right now. To get a bonus area. See, normally you'd probably have to replay the stage for that, right? But we already know all the tips and tricks because I have completed this game once and I used save states to do it. And it was the GBA version. So please forgive me. I know I've said a lot of heretical things about my experiences with this game, but I do love this game very much, and I have played the original version of it exactly once. The manual says that every banana in the game is obtainable. That's a lot. I mean, we could grab those, but there's some in the game we can't grab, to my knowledge, and I've tried and tried. But we'll get there when we get there, inevitably. Oh no, I want to break that. You can press X. This is the only use of the X button in the game, to my knowledge. To dispose of, or to get off your animal buddy. Not dispose of him. Jeez. Okay, that was, I guess, worth it. Lives are not really an issue, especially this early in the game. Okay, nice stuff. That's not worth it. Oh, I mean, actually, you know what? We can go back and grab this crate. Because we're going to need Kong family tokens. Because I spent them all, pretty much, at Swanky's. I hate these guys so much. Also, this is a reference to Donkey Kong Jr. Well, I mean, of course, that was in Donkey Kong Country 1. But there's a lot more of it. There's a lot more verticality in the levels. Just like between Mario 1 and 2. Which I really like. I think that's cool. But they wanted to go for less linear style of gameplay like most platformers are. Like the first game was. And they wanted to... What's down here? Oh! Hello. That's nice. Kong letters are still not required for completion, so don't worry about them. Oh! Hello. I forgot that hook was there. I like to get that from above. But this is easier if you remember there's a hook there. Oh, jeez. Oh, these dragonflies are called flitters, by the way. But this sequel has a lot of comparison, if you think about it, to Donkey Kong Jr. The sequel to the original, game. Which, I mean, the Donkey Kong Country series replaces the original Donkey Kong series, so it makes sense, reference-wise. And I don't know if they did this on purpose. But, for instance, I always miss that. I'm so proud of myself. For now, not for usually missing it. That was obvious. Cut that out. God, they're so stupid. Oh, well, we did not get the G. They hide it in the end-of-level target sometimes, but that's okay. But, Donkey Kong gets kidnapped, and Donkey Kong Jr. / Diddy Kong has to go rescue him, which makes sense. Because if you'll remember, in the development of Donkey Kong Country 1, Diddy was originally just going to be Donkey Kong Jr., but Nintendo said either rename your redesign or make him look like Donkey Kong Jr. So there's that. And, I mean, there's really not much to this comparison, but still, I mean, it's a neat little nod to the original Donkey Kong trilogy. Looking good, dudes. I'm Funky the Main Monkey. That's the name of this song. And he gives us access to the biplane barrel. And he's somehow surfing in midair. I never understood this. Like, I think in the remake there's a fan there or something. But he's just completely floating there. Whatever. We don't need this right now at all. That is a huge waste of 2 coins. Call again, good buddies. God, Funky's so cool. But let's actually get into this. Let's review first that we did everything in this world. Alright, we definitely did. Alright, was there something else I was going to say before this? I guess not. Let's get into Crow's Nest. Crow being the first boss of the game, and I love that animation when you see a boss. An egg! It's an egg! And yes, it's a mini Necky. If you've noticed, almost none of the enemies from Donkey Kong Country show up in this game. There are only 2 that do. One of them being Zingers, which we've already seen. That's why I haven't mentioned them. And the second one we sort of haven't seen yet, but we're seeing it right now. Spoilers, it's a mini Necky. I love this boss. Yeah, after much debate, I used to like the first game better. When I first played this game, I still liked Donkey Kong Country 1 better, and that's partially because of nostalgia. I had already seen this game. I watched this game years ago, Nintendo Capri Sun's playthrough. And after playing it, I still thought Donkey Kong Country 1 was better. And I think that's partially because I was really frustrated at how hard this game was at first. But I definitely do think this game is better. It may not be my favorite in the trilogy. Again, blasphemy, I know. Most people think Donkey Kong Country 3 is the worst. But I think it might be the best. I'm not sure whether I like this game or that game better, but we'll find out when we get there. And I definitely do like the boss fights better in this game. At least than the first game. That's what I was going to say in the boss fight, that's right. But then I got distracted. Anyway, next time we won't ramble on quite as much. And I'll see you in Crocodile Cauldron. I'm LP Master 6.